Greetings, everybody. Welcome to the show, Fifth Street Soccer, here on the Sports Byline USA and SB Nation Radio Networks. I'm Nick Geber. He is Nick Webster, and we have a great show for you today as we get ready for the start of the English Premier League. And, of course, the week following, all the other European leagues will follow suit. Nick Webster, today we're going to look at Liverpool, Chelsea, and Arsenal. We might squeeze in a little Tottenham action and maybe the seventh place finisher from last year, Burnley of all people. You ready, Nick?
Oh, I'm always ready for a little bit of Burnley. Let's take us up to Turf Moor, put me flat cap on, and have me Bovril at half-time.
Yes, indeed. Seventh place finish was the surprise from them last season. We'll see how they do this season. Here's the particulars. The website, www.fifthstreetsports.com. Go there, get all sorts of content. It's a great place to go. The Facebook page, facebook.com/Fifth Street Sports Talk. Go there, join over 7,000 other people who follow us and participate on our website, and we can have a grand time. The number to call into the studio, 800-878-PLAY, if you've got something to say. And we would love to hear from you, whether you're listening on an affiliate station of the Sports Byline Network, or of the SB Nation Network, or on iHeart, or on American Forces, or TuneIn, or I don't care how you're bloody listening. Just give us a call, 800-878-PLAY. And finally, send us a tweet, or we will tweet. We do tweet. Tweet. We're not Donald Trump, but we send tweets. We do. Fifth Street Sports Talk. That is our Twitter handle, man. So we hope you'll participate in the show. Once again, Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal. We're going to do those. We're going to try to sneak in Spurs, a little bit of Burnley, and we're going to start handicapping the Premier League, how we see it ending, as we are now just getting ready to start it. But that's what you do. And then you go down, you place a little wager, and you make it happen. Nick, you ready?
I'm ready to place a little wager. I've got my shirt on who I think is going to win the Premier League, but we might as well prognosticate on who's going to come second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth.
All right, folks, get ready. Get your pens, get your paper, get your recording devices. We don't care if you record us. We want you to. We are live on Facebook Live. We are live on Sports Byline and SB Nation Radio. We are live on American Forces. And we're going to go to commercial break. And when we come back, we'll prove to you that we're still alive. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1780. 855-325-1780. That's 855-325-1780. It has been said that everyone has a book in them. But do you have the time or the ability to write your book? Maybe you picked up some skills or had a life experience that you want to pass on in the form of a book to help others. Maybe you want to leave an autobiography for your family. Or maybe you've built a successful business and you want to share your story. At Dorrance Publishing Company, we have professional writers who can help turn your book idea into a finished manuscript quickly and affordably. A Dorrance ghostwriter can provide as much or as little help as you need to complete your book. You'll work directly with your ghostwriter to finish your book faster than you ever could on your own. It's easy to become a published author. Call Dorrance now to learn more. 800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. Call right now. That number is 800-485-6003.
In times of economic uncertainty and chaos, your money means nothing. You may not even be able to get it from your bank or ATM. And the money you do have in the stock market will go down and down. What you can bank on is gold and silver. Gold and silver have been a reliable and trusted form of currency for thousands of years. Gold and silver have never been worth zero, and typically gold holds its value during economic turmoil. Call the Gold Hotline now and learn how to protect your money and your assets with gold and silver. And learn how to set up a new IRA or roll over your current one into a gold-backed IRA. Protect your money from the next market crash with gold and silver. Call now for your free gold guide.
800-535-7789. 800-535-7789. 800-535-7789. That's 800-535-7789.
You're hot.
Welcome back to the show, Fifth Street Soccer. Sports Byline USA, SB Nation Radio, Nick Eber and Nick Webster. Nick, how did you like that opening? That's why they call me Sir Percival Smoothly Smooth.
Oh, beyond smooth. I mean, it's like you've been eating X-Lax for the last 3 weeks. That's smooth.
Are you referring to the rubbish that pours out of my mouth?
No, the smoothness of the delivery, Mr. Geber. I would never question your footballing prowess.
Indeed, Nick. Flattery gets you everywhere. All right, well, let's talk about flattery, because this team is going to need some for anyone to handicap them. Currently 20-1 to win the Premier League. We're talking about Arsenal. And Nick, what strikes me about Arsenal is the shocking condition that Arsene Wenger really left this squad in.
Oh, it's a little harsh on the professor, isn't it? I mean, this was the team that had won back-to-back FA Cups, if I'm not too mistaken, until last year. So it's not like they haven't actually been getting some silverware. So, I think you're a little harsh on the Wenger man himself.
Hold on, Nick. Really? They won one away game all year.
Well, yes, that's absolutely disgraceful. I mean, he should have been sacked way before that actually occurred. But when you think about it, there are only 3 domestic trophies to win each year: the title, of course, the FA Cup, and the League Cup, which actually nobody actually wants to win. Right. And Wenger, in 2 of the last 3 years, managed to take Arsenal to the Cup final and beat, I believe, Chelsea and Manchester City to take home the trophy. So I wouldn't say he left the Arsenal in a terrible state, but what I would say, he left Arsenal in a terrible state to win league titles. I think in one-off competitions, in one-off games, Wenger was quite the genius, as it showed by his FA Cup victories. But a lot of work for Emery to do. Although I do like the last 2 signings that Wenger made. Aubameyang and Lacazette are quality, proven goal scorers. And should they really bet in, and this will be their first, for Aubameyang, his first full season, I mean, Arsenal could score a lot of goals this year.
Well, first of all, Nick, I would hazard a guess, not a guess, an opinion, that this was the squad that Wenger left behind was the worst in his 22-year reign as commander-in-chief at Arsenal. But having said that, those 2 were 2 good signings, and their signings up to now haven't been all that bad. Stefan Lichtsteiner came from Juve on a free transfer. They've got Socrates Papastathopoulos, which is a decent little signing from Borussia Dortmund. And actually, the signing I think that could have massive influence for them is Lucas Torreira from Sampdoria. So they have shown up the squad. The managers had time to make changes, unlike other clubs like Chelsea, where they put the manager under the gun. And I think if you think about it, the pundits are all putting them as 6th place finisher, but I think there's going to be a bit of a battle. I think they're going to have. I think they could finish 5th potentially.
Yeah, I think they've got the potential to do that. I mean, I really like the fullbacks, Bellerin and Monreal. I think they're quality players, although, I mean, in the centre-back department, it's an absolute disaster for the Gunners with no proven centre-backs of Premier League experience. Midfield-wise, I mean, there's some great talent there, No one can doubt what Mkhitaryan's capable of. Ozil is a match winner, and we've mentioned before that he's no longer playing for Germany, so he'll be a lot fresher. If Aaron Ramsey can remain injury-free, which is next to impossible, But he's the kind of midfielder that can pop up with 10, 15 goals a season. Jacques is solid as anything. So is El Neni. And then we talk about the boys up front, Lacazette, Aubameyang, and Mr. Danny Welbeck, who couldn't hit a cow's ass with a banjo. But there is some quality there. And, there's no reason to think that Arsenal shouldn't finish fifth. And perhaps with Chelsea's travails and Tottenham not buying anything, maybe a flirt with the Champions League again.
Well, it's possible, but unlikely. A couple of questions for you. I, for one, have been very disappointed with Mkhitaryan. I think I've seen flashes of brilliance from him as a player, but I just don't think it's worked for him up to this point at Arsenal. And second of all, let's talk about Europa League. I mean, Unai Emery is a Europa League specialist, isn't he? Do you expect Arsenal to have a good run?
Well, I mean, he's the only man in the history of football to win the Europa League 3 years in a row. So you'd have to say that this is a man that actually knows the tournament inside and out. Yes, the Europa League isn't everybody's favorite because you play on a Thursday and then you have to play in the Premier League on a Sunday, and just the timing of, modern footballers. Oh, heaven forbid we play on Thursday night instead of Wednesday, and Sunday afternoon instead of Saturday afternoon. But no, I actually think that Arsenal will probably have a very deep run in the Europa League because the quality isn't as high. And if they don't take their eye off the prize, which is obviously getting back into the Champions League, I think they're going to be in good shape. And right now, their odds are quite astronomical to win the Premier League, and perhaps worth a flutter.
20-1, maybe. Nick, before we wrap up Arsenal here, one of the better time will tell, but on first blush, this looks like one of the better managerial appointments. We've seen it before with long-term managers, most notably, of course, Alex Ferguson had all sorts of success, really became Manchester United, and when he left, this house of cards sort of fell in around him. Wenger very much had that role at Arsenal, but I really like this appointment, Nick. I really think this is the right manager at the right time in the right club.
Well, I mean, I'm going to sit on the fence on that one, being that most managerial careers last about 13 months these days. So with us, and especially with Arsenal's start, home to City, away to Chelsea, I mean, he could be turfed out after the third game.
Oh, I doubt that, but they could certainly be playing catch-up the whole season if they fail to take any points from those first two matches. We talked about this before. It is such a tight league, you cannot afford to drop early points.
Well, and the trouble is their third game, which is, admittedly at home, is against West Ham, and that's always kind of been a troublesome fixture for the Gunners as well. I mean, I can never forget the day that Alan Pardew and Arsene Wenger got into it on the sidelines, and Pardew said to Wenger, "Sit down, you effing French Barclays banker."
Well, Pardew is not going to be invited to a garden party at Her Majesty's anytime
soon.
Not
Arsene Wenger's garden party anyway.
No, not with that. And of course, you mentioned West Ham. That is, surprisingly enough, one of the teams that has been very heavy spenders, spending 85 million on some really quite juicy players, I think, including players like Yarmolenko and Felipe Anderson. I mean, they've done some really good business. West Ham could be a team to be reckoned with here. But we'll see what happens with Arsenal, Nick. I think 6th or 5th for them. I'm not sure which one yet, but a couple of very, very difficult early matches of that. There is no doubt. So what do you think? 5, 6, or 7?
Yeah, I'm definitely with you, but I'm going to throw in another number: 4, 5, or 6.
Really?
Yes.
And who do you think they would
put some money on it? I'm going to go 4th.
Good for you. Well, that would be considered a massively successful season by anyone's standards, Nick. 4th, a return to the Champions League and knocking one of the preordained top 4 out of the picture would certainly be a big surprise. Would be considered a massive upset, I would think. Who do you think they're going to knock out?
I think they're going to knock out Chelsea and probably Tottenham.
Oh, of course, Tottenham-Arsenal, the big rivalry, Nick. That would make a lot of people smile. And putting a death blow to Tottenham's European hopes, would certainly make Unai Emery an instant hero at Arsenal. Of that, there is no doubt. All right, when we come back, folks, after the break, we're going to talk a little Chelsea. We're going to talk a little Liverpool. We're going to talk a little rubbish, quite honestly, because Nick and I seem to do that so well, Nick. Are you ready to do a little Liverpool and Chelsea, Nick?
Oh, absolutely. I can't wait to get stuck into the Reds.
Stuck into it. By the way, a couple weeks ago, about 10 days ago, we interviewed Steve McManaman. That was a real treat, wasn't it, Nick?
Yes, it was. Macca, quite the Liverpool legend, and the fact that he left Liverpool and went to Real Madrid and won 2 Champions Leagues is really a testament to the quality that he possessed.
All right, when we come back, we'll pick it up with Liverpool and Chelsea. Fifth Street Soccer, don't go anywhere. Sports Byline USA, SB Nation Radio. We'll be right back.
If you or someone you love suffers from drug addiction, now is the time to utilize your private health insurance PPO plan. If eligible, receive up to $30,000 or more in substance abuse benefits with low or no out-of-pocket cost. We are the National Treatment Network, the premier drug and alcohol treatment referral service operating 24/7. We help connect you with facilities nationwide that accepts PPO private health insurance for substance abuse. If you have PPO substance abuse coverage and you need immediate admittance to a medical detox or residential rehab treatment center, call us now. Call our live referral helpline today. The call is free. This program is not available to Medicare or Medicaid customers.
Call 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. That's 800-296-1252. Dish TV is better than cable TV. Why? Because you can save 45% on packages compared to your high-priced cable bill. Wow. Take those giant scissors out and cut the cable and save with Dish TV. Plus, you get a free DVR upgrade to record your favorite shows and free installation. And with Dish Anywhere, you can watch TV for free on your mobile device. Act fast. You can save hundreds of dollars. Does your cable company do that for you? Get all the best TV programming at your fingertips at a fraction of the price of cable TV. So say adios, arrivederci, goodbye to the high cable bill and save up to 45% on Dish TV packages today. These are limited time offers and can change at any time. Call fast. 800-405-2561. 800-405-2561. 800-405-2561. That's 800-405-2561.
Are you an inventor who would like to try to have an invention or idea patented and submitted to companies, but you don't know what to do next? Call for free information from InventHelp. InventHelp, a leading inventor service company, has been helping inventors since 1984 and has sales offices located in more than 60 cities nationwide. You'll want to talk to the company that has helped secure more than 7,000 invention patents. So call InventHelp. Even if you have an idea for improving an existing product and don't know where to go with it, you'll still want to call InventHelp for free information. You'll find out how InventHelp may assist you in trying to patent your invention and submit it to companies. So call now.
Call InventHelp at 1-800-316-1738. That's 1-800-316-1738. Get your free information by dialing 1-800-316-1738. That's 1-800-316-1738. 1-800-316-1738.
You're hot.
All right, welcome back to the show. Fifth Street Soccer, Sports Byline USA, SB Nation Radio. Big hello to our men and women in uniform listening around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. I'm Nick Geber. He is Nick Webster. And this is part of our preview for the upcoming Premier League season, which does kick off this Friday with Leicester City, Manchester United. Is that the match, Nick?
That is correct, at Old Trafford, the Theatre of Nightmares.
At Old Trafford. That is correct. Yes, that's what I thought. Should be a very good match, by the way. A real nice one to start the season off with. Chelsea not in action. They will be in action over the weekend, as will all the teams. Nick, a club in turmoil, I think, is probably the best way to describe Chelsea with their 5th place finish last season. Lots of discussions around Antonio Conte leaving, and he left late, and Roman Abramovich didn't want to pay off his contract, so he stayed way past his sell-by date, eating up the transfer window, and in comes Maurizio Sarri from Napoli, who was the worst-kept secret in town. My friend Aurelio De Laurentiis selling him, essentially, to Roman Abramovich. It's funny how this works. Sarri taking over at Stamford Bridge. Nick, he has a high-pressing style very similar to Jurgen Klopp. What do you think about this managerial appointment?
Well, you mentioned that Chelsea in disarray. This seems to be a club that's in constant disarray, and I feel like it's getting worse, especially with the fact that the British Home Office has denied Mr. Abramovich an extended visa, which means that he can't stay in England for any length of time. And when we've seen one-to-way owners in the US, and Chelsea have always had great success when Abramovich has had his finger right on the pulse, and regardless of whether he gets through managers or not, Chelsea have been serial winners for the last 14 years since Abramovich flew into West London. I think Sarri is going to struggle to begin with. You mentioned that he has the same managerial style as Klopp, high pressing. That takes time to develop. That takes time for the players to really get on the same page. And we've seen from Chelsea that, the players, they throw their toys out of the pram at the first sign of trouble. Hazard is supposedly very unhappy. Courtois is out the door. I mean, he's probably in Madrid right now, hasn't showed up for training for the first 3 days of the season. So basically he's out. They're paying well over the odds for this keeper from Atletico Bilbao, I believe, something like £70 million.
Yeah.
Chelsea have got some work to do, and I actually see them being the team in the top 6 that's going to struggle the most.
Well, it's interesting to me because Sarri comes in, of course, from Napoli. The first thing he does is he brings his teacher's pet with him, Jorginho, with the idea that he's a sort of defensive midfielder that will sort of provide the backstop for their forward press. It's an interesting addition. I think it does go a long way to helping this squad that he inherited pick up his style. However, big question marks all over the place, Nick, about players, Hazard, Courtois, who's staying, who's going. We will have to wait. We will have to wait and see.
But you mentioned Jorginho, Nick. I mean, an outstanding player that sits in front of the back four, but he's always got the best player in the world at that position.
Yeah.
N'Golo Kante is without doubt the second coming of Makelele.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of seems like overload to me. I mean, the questions that you should be asking are up front. Morata is the Chelsea version of Danny Welbeck. He can't hit a chaos ass with a banjo. Yeah. Hazard wants away. Willian is, if you believe rumors, is somewhat unsettled. Fabregas is kind of, his sell-by date is going. Ross Barkley is a project at best who hasn't even played for Chelsea yet. And then the one player that I really truly rate is Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and he probably won't even get a game.
Yeah, and of course Sarri saying excuses for why he really hasn't added any players, saying that the transfer market is a refuge for weak coaches, is a fascinating statement. Maybe trying to cover up the fact that he came in late and a lot of the players he wanted weren't there. And all you have to do is to look at Anfield and look at Jurgen Klopp's first year in charge, where he also really took him 14, 15 months before he was able to really bring in any players to suit his system. He did well, but I mean, they didn't tear it up, put it that way. It was nice, it was refreshing to see the type of football, but you're quite right. This particular style of football, this Sarri ball, this heavy metal football that we're talking about, requires a squad that is built around it. And Klopp is into his fourth year now, Nick? He's had an opportunity now to really build a squad. Sarri's just kicking it off. I think for me, when we talk about who's going to end up in 6th place, I think I'm inclined to agree with you, Nick. I think very possibly Chelsea will be the 6th place finisher, and they could even drop further down. The big question mark for me, the biggest single question mark I have, I'm hearing rumors loud and clear and strong from the UK that Abramovich is selling this team. He has them on the market. He's talking to a lot of buyers. He wants out of Chelsea. He feels personally slighted by the British government for not giving him that visa, given all the investment he's made both in Chelsea and the surrounding areas. That, I think, would be the biggest turmoil this club would undergo, but I think it is coming.
Oh, I mean, that makes perfect sense. You know, as we know, rich billionaires who don't get their own way tend to throw the toys out the pram immediately. It'll be interesting to see how much money he could get for Chelsea, being that the stadium expansion, which is probably the most important thing for the future of Chelsea Football Club, is going to cost something in the region of 1.3, 1.4 billion pounds. So whoever decides to take on this project in West London better have some really deep pockets, because it's going to cost a fortune, and that's without upgrading this squad. And as you note, as you rightly pointed out, Chelsea haven't done a great deal of business in the transfer market. So it's going to be a baptism of fire for Sarri, as it was for Klopp. And I happen to agree with you, Nick. I think 6th place might actually be a little bit generous. I could see 7th or 8th.
Yeah, I could too, particularly with clubs like West Ham, who look to be getting bedded in. Burnley had a great run last year. You just never know. We talked a few days ago, Nick, about what made the Premier League the best league in the world, and we defined that by agreeing that the 2 best teams in the world didn't play in the Premier League. But in terms of competition, teams 1 through 20, the competition's much tougher in the Premier League than it is in any other football league in the world. As a result, Nick, you're right. A team like Chelsea, there's going to be lots and lots of other teams nipping at their heels that will happily pull them down. 6th, 7th place, definitely a possibility. But the big question mark, does the team go on the block? If the team goes on the block, how soon is it before they're sold? If they're sold, who the new ownership is. Typically, Nick, as you know, teams that are up for sale or where there's ownership turmoil always perform badly on the pitch, right?
Yeah, they do. It's traditional, and as I said, those pockets have to be massive. And is it a case of someone comes in and then decides to load a bunch of debt on the club, a la the Glazer family, or is it a Sheikh Mansour who comes in and buys up the lot? The whole package. And I know from probably a Chelsea fan's perspective, that they would like to see someone come in with those really big pockets and just completely turn the club around.
We had this discussion a little bit yesterday. I'm going to flip over here for a second. You talk about the Glazers and the leverage buyout, but since the Glazers took over at Manchester United, they've won 6 titles, Champions League, the League Cup 4 times, 2 FA Cups. They've been perennially Champions League teams. They've made it deep runs outside of just the one win. Listen, I think the modern day and age of football, how you finance the team, as long as there's good cash flow, doesn't really seem to matter so much as long as money is made available, right?
Well, I don't know if it matters or not, but I mean, the Glazers are still massively unpopular at Manchester United. The club still owes something in the region of $600 million. I mean, £600 million. And the Glazers are dipping into Glazers are dipping into the till at the end of every season to the tune of 20 to 30 million in management fees.
Yeah, but who cares?
Oh, I love
who
that
cares?
one.
Club's not going bankrupt. Club's winning all over the place. It finished second in the Premier League last year.
Look, Mourinho's complaining like a baby because he's not been given the money to go out and spend on who he wants this transfer
that's because
season.
Giving Mourinho an open checkbook is like
Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp and they're flouncing around in the transfer market, spending something like 230 million quid.
Yeah. You know why, Nick? Because giving Mourinho an open checkbook is like sending a drug addict on a free, all expenses paid trip to Amsterdam. Come on, Nick. I mean, this is just responsible management. Let's be honest. Mourinho has shown that he is not an adult human being. He is a petulant adolescent. And as such, Do not give him the keys to the Ferrari. It will be like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. In fact, is Jose Mourinho not the Ferris Bueller of modern football?
Well, you could certainly equate him to Ferris Bueller, but I think Ferris Bueller is actually a nicer man-child than Jose Mourinho was.
All right, there you have it. That's our take on Chelsea. Of course, we somehow always come around to their former manager, the great sulk himself, Jose Mourinho. Coming up after the break, we're going to take a look at Liverpool, and it is predicted that Liverpool and Man City will be in a dogfight for the champions to become champions of England. We will find out what Nick Webster thinks and what I think when we come back. Find us on Facebook, facebook.com/FisherySportsTalk, Twitter FisherySports, 800-878-PLAY. We'll be right back after this.
If you or a loved one is suffering from a physical or emotional condition that has left you unable to work, then listen carefully. Take this number down. 800-593-7491. That's 800-593-7491. When you call, you'll speak with a Social Security disability expert and get a free evaluation to see if you may qualify for disability insurance benefits from the U.S. government. That's right, a monthly cash payment paid directly to you from the Social Security Administration. Whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied disability benefits, call now. The disability attorneys at Pinnacle Disability can help you build your case, file an appeal, and represent you at no upfront cost to you. Don't wait another minute to see if you may qualify for your Social Security disability benefits. Call Pinnacle Disability Group at 800-593-7491 for your free case evaluation. That's 800-593-7491. 800-593-7491. Call now.
Attention to anyone that's written a book or wants to write a book. The process is not that complicated. Take a first step. Even if you write a page a day, you'll build momentum and your book will become a reality. The hard part is getting it published. That's when you need to call Page Publishing. They've got hundreds and hundreds of thank yous from different new authors, just like you. They make the process of publishing your new book and getting it sold online a simple process. You can learn how simple it is right now by calling for your free Page Publishing New Author Submission Kit. One quick 3-minute phone call, that's all it takes to get free information and learn how you can get your book published. Pick up your phone right now and call us 24 hours a day at this number. 800-603-0885. 800-603-0885. 800-603-0885. That's 800-603-0885.
If you are age 85 or younger, call to learn more about final expense plans from a licensed agent in the Angel Care Network. The average funeral now costs over $10,000. Are you at risk of leaving loved ones to help pay your debts? A final expense policy for seniors can pay up to $30,000 for funeral and other final expenses. You don't need a medical exam, and you can have lifetime coverage, and the policy cannot be canceled. To receive free information about final expense plans from a licensed agent in the Angel Care Network, call now. You'll also receive information about a free prescription discount card just for calling in. Agents are standing by.
Call 800-508-5774. 800-508-5774. 800-508-5774. Call now. That's 800-508-5774.
Well, the midfield was questionable. The man behind the sticks was, well, unreliable. And it all ended up in a very disappointing Champions League final for Liverpool. But it does seem that in the off-season, Jurgen Klopp has addressed most of those shortcomings that were made most visible during the Champions League final and added a record-breaking £180 million to the squad. Welcome back to the show. History Soccer, Nick Ebert, along with Nick Webster. We are, of course, now turning our attention to Liverpool, who are the odds-on favorite right now to finish second. I believe it's going to be a dogfight for first place. Manchester City hoping to repeat as champions. But Nick Webster, if there's anyone that's done really shrewd and quality business during this window, it is Jurgen Klopp.
Yes, the Bank of Liverpool has been thoroughly opened up and looted. Obviously, a lot of that money is the Philip Coutinho money that Barcelona got swindled out of, £140 million. But yeah, I mean, he's broken the world record for a goalkeeper. But I think it's a great move. I think Alisson's a really good keeper, and that was definitely an upgrade that Liverpool needed. I think Virgil van Dijk, who came in during the January window in January, is an outstanding centre-back, and finding a good partner for him is going to be great. The fullbacks are wonderful. And of course, you have Mane. You have this man called Mohamed Salah, who had just took the Premiership by storm.
Yeah.
And couldn't stop scoring goals. And up front, I think you've got some great players: Solanke, Firmino, and maybe even a Daniel Sturridge sighting or two. And I can see why there is so much optimism at Anfield. This is a team that really has, the other signing, Shaqiri, Fabinho, and Chiesa, all top quality players. And I can see Liverpool getting off to a fast start. And if they do, they might take some catching.
Yeah, what's interesting to me when I was looking at the stats on Alisson, who came from Roma, I mean, he is, in terms of save percentage, I think the third best in football today, behind De Gea and one other keeper whose name, was it Stegen, I think? I think he was right behind De Gea and Ter Stegen. But apparently his ball distribution is top out of all the goalkeepers in the world right now. His passing accuracy and goal distribution is number one, which when you combine that with Liverpool's furious pace, fast counterattack and press, seems to really make their play out of the back even more dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as they have the ability to get it back to the keeper, and if their opponents are pressing, well, with that kind of distribution, we've seen from the City goalkeeper, Ederson, just what a team is capable of doing. And listen, any coach worth their salts, if you're listening, Tull Smith, if you're listening, any coach worth his salts knows that the first line of attack begins with your goalkeeper.
That's right.
And by picking up a goalkeeper with that kind of quality, Liverpool can go from defending to attacking, and we've seen how quickly they can do it anyway, with even more blazing speed and perhaps, utilizing different parts of the game. Instead of building out the back, they can go long, they can go wide, they can do lots of different things. And, I really think that that's a smart move. And I guess the interesting thing is going to be, how does Chiesa settle in at Anfield? Because no doubt about it, a glorious player. We know what Shaqiri can do in the Premiership already. And then Fabinho, he's got European experience. He's won a couple of titles in France, but can he cope with the Premiership? And we've seen many times that, I hate to be jingoistic and a bit stereotypical, but we have seen that sometimes it does take maybe half a season for European players to get to pace with the English game.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be fascinating to see. But of course, there is depth around him, so the weight of the world is not going to be on his rather narrow shoulders. Nick, a couple of points that you made that I would like to correct myself first of all, because I actually now have the facts in front of me. David, is that the Alisson save percentage is third behind David De Gea and actually Jan Oblak of Atletico Madrid, and then you have Alisson. The really interesting stat is last season, he did not make a single mistake that led to a goal against Roma the entire season. And Nick, when you're coming off what is, shall we say, a comedy of errors between Mignolet and Karius over the last couple of seasons, this will be refreshing, to say the least, at Anfield.
Yes, you could say that, but within the same token, he's not going to experience the pressure that some of, I don't want to say lesser teams, but some of the less talented teams in the Premiership are going to do. In Italy, they play all the same way. Most of the teams play the same way. In England, I mean, the bottom 5, 6, 7, when the going gets tough, are not afraid about lumping the ball into the box and throwing bodies in there. And
you mean like Sergio Ramos?
But that's the big test for goalkeepers in the Premiership. It's not about the shot stopping and the distribution, but it's about how do you deal with high balls? How do you deal with crosses that are whipped in?
Nick, you say that, and clearly I agree that the Premiership is a very physical league, okay? The most physical league in Europe. But look what happened in the Champions League final. Sergio Ramos mugged Mohamed Salah and then knocked unconscious Loris Karius. Don't tell me that the English game is the only game where they're tough.
Yeah, but that didn't occur from a steady barrage of crosses launched into the box. Salah was mugged in midfield by a judo tackle, and Karius was, very cheekily elbowed in the head. I mean, and we're talking about Sergio Ramos right now. Come on, Nick.
I know, and I wish there was VAR because he should have had half his season on suspension coming up for that terrible display.
You're not bitter about it still, are you?
You think I'm not bitter about it? I am bitter about it, Nick, because that to me was the ultimate form of cheating. Gareth Bale's exceptional goal. Yeah, it's like Maradona. Yeah, everyone loves to talk about the hand of God goal, but no one talks about the other goal he scored, which is probably one of the greatest goals in football ever scored. We can talk about Sergio Ramos for sure, but we have to talk about Gareth Bale's magnificent goal as well. So, let's put that aside and move on. Nick, where do you see Liverpool finishing? Second to City, or are they going to really pip them to the top at the last minute?
I'm hoping for an absolute squeaker that will be decided by the last kick of the game, like when City beat QPR to deny United the title. Aguero! Yeah, I can see this one be a nail biter all the way. I mean, I'm not a fan of Liverpool, but my heart says Liverpool, my head says City.
Yeah. Well, right now, odds to win the league for Liverpool are 4-1. And by the way, just to go back to the last segment, we talked a little bit about Chelsea. Chelsea have better odds to win than Arsenal do. Chelsea at 14-1, Arsenal at 20-1. That seems to me to be arse backwards, if you ask me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think Arsenal should be a lot smaller odds for the title, but we do have to get to Tottenham, Nick, because our boy Carl Smith he's just pinged me and said, "Why aren't you talking about his beloved Spurs?"
Well, let's talk about his beloved Spurs. They really have done very little business in the off-season. They're a settled squad. They got Harry Kane back from the World Cup, apparently saying he felt disappointed with his Golden Boot performance. By the way, I love to hear that. I mean, the man is the ultimate competitor, and you have to really appreciate and admire that. But ultimately, I mean, there's very little to talk about with Spurs other than what you saw last season, which was a terrific performance. But on the whole, they really haven't added anyone to them, and I think the teams around them have got a lot better, Nick. How do you see it?
Yeah, it seems to be more of the same for Tottenham. I mean, they could lose Vertonghen to United, who I'm sure they're going to make a massive deal. Love the wing-backs, love Davis, love Trippier. Aurier's a bit of a mistake waiting to happen. It will be interesting to see what Danny Rose decides to do, because I know he was chirping about not getting the playing time he wanted. In terms of midfield, I mean, I think Tottenham are as strong as anybody, especially when you've got Eriksen, and I'd like to see Dele Alli push on from his World Cup experience. I think Son is more than capable of finding 10 to 15 goals a season, and would love to see Lamela kick on. And then up front, as you mentioned, Harry Kane he's like Aguero. He's a serial goal scorer, although he does start off slow. And with so many Spurs players having been involved in the World Cup, I am concerned about the start that Tottenham could get. We've spoken about the fast start that City and Liverpool want to get on. Tottenham have, over the last few seasons, been slow starters. Kane doesn't usually score in August. Llorente is not the greatest cover in the world for Kane. So Mauricio Pochettino's got some thinking to do, especially with the fact that the first few home games are at Wembley. They're then going to move into the new stadium, which is notorious. New stadiums are notorious for the home club having a hard time, because the atmosphere is kind of weird. People aren't sitting in the same places. The players don't really feel at home with the stadium. So I actually think that Tottenham could be in a bit of bother this year.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm trying to think about where I think they're going to finish, because I think you got City, Liverpool, United.
Yep. Arsenal. And Tottenham.
Yeah, Nick, you know, you may well be right. And the other factor at Arsenal that we haven't talked about, of course, is the longest-running feud between Stan Kroenke and Usmanov has finally been settled, with Kroenke taking complete control of the club. That's another point that I haven't thought. Plus, another year in the new stadium, which is now, 5-6 years old already. Maybe not quite that old. But, yeah, you know, I think they may be the more settled of the two clubs, despite the managerial change, Nick.
Yeah, no, definitely. Look, Pochettino, I think he does have an ambition, and that ambition is actually to manage Real Madrid one of these days. And as we know from the Bernabeu, the turnover of managers is usually 1 to 2 years. So I would not be surprised to see Tottenham struggle this year and Pochettino to be rolling up at the Bernabeu sometime about, August 2019.
Do you think that Anthony Martial is going to leave United and head to Spurs?
Absolutely. I don't know if he's going to head to Spurs, but he's definitely going to leave United. He can't stand Mourinho.
Yeah. Along with a whole bevy of other players. They are a real disaster waiting to happen. So, Tyles Smith, there you have it. Tottenham, we predict they're going to finish in 5th place. Is that right, Nick?
Yeah, he's not going to be happy with me, but unless they can get off to this fast start and really bed in at the home stadium really quickly, and just, I'm just going from history, Nick, here. Every team that's moved into a new stadium has struggled.
Right, so here's how we see it, right? City, Liverpool, Man United, Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea, and then we start to get, is Sean Dyche going to do it again for 7th place, Nick?
Well, unfortunately for Sean Dyche and Burnley, they've already been playing for 3 months in Europa League qualifying. And as we've seen many, many times from the 2nd and 3rd tier teams in the Premiership, you get involved in that Europa League and all of a sudden your domestic form just goes out of the window. And the fact that Burnley are on a shoestring budget, their squad isn't exactly loaded with talent, they're going to struggle.
And Sean Dyche has said he likes to work with a small squad. Well, welcome to European football, my friend. All right, well, we're going to get more into that tomorrow. In the meantime, you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Fifth Street Sports Talk, on the web at fifthstreetsports.com, on Twitter, Fifth Street Sports, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Facebook Live, YouTube, of course, Sports Byline USA, Radio Network, and SB Nation Network, and American Forces, and we're going to break, and we'll be back, and you don't go anywhere.
Results may vary, not a solicitation for legal services. If you owe the IRS back taxes, payroll taxes, or have not filed your returns, the IRS will get you. They can take your property, take you to court, even put you in jail. One call to Wall & Associates, and your tax problems are solved. Wall has saved clients over $150 million in the last 5 years. Our average client settles for about 10% of what is owed. With one call to Wall, you'll never need to talk to the IRS again. We offer free face-to-face consultations in your local area. Remember, Wall has a proven track record with a total client savings over $150 million. Call now for your free face-to-face consultation. 800-813-9940. 800-813-9940. 800-813-9940.
Pedro Fernandez here. You might know me as the host of Ring Talk Live Worldwide, but this time I'm here to talk about that 4-letter word everybody dreads, pain. If you have back pain or knee pain like I do, hey, you should know about the Health Alert Hotline. I'm talking about if Medicare is your primary medical insurance, and guess what? You can qualify for a back or knee brace or a shoulder brace for little or no charge. Anything to help me with the pain, hey, makes it more manageable, gets my attention, folks. I love the free delivery, and they take care of the paperwork for you. So if you have Medicare and need help for your back, ankle, knee, or shoulder, guess what? Give the Health Alert Hotline a call, toll free, 1-800-428-1570. 1-800-428-1570. You can qualify for a back or knee brace or a shoulder brace for little or no charge. 1-800-428-1570. The Health Alert Hotline, 1-800-428-1570.
When you struggle with credit card bills every month, you're not just in debt. Debt is all around you.
I see people every day that are on the brink. They're going to go over the edge, and at the bottom is bankruptcy, and we pull them back.
At the Debt Helpline, we're experts at helping you resolve your debt problems and become free of debt. We can help you pay off your debt and give you one lower monthly payment that you can afford.
You do get to consolidate your payments. You only have to worry about making one payment a month instead of making 3 or 4 or 5.
If you have $5,000, $10,000 or more in credit card bills, call the Debt Helpline now for a free confidential debt analysis.
800-957-6063. 800-957-6063. Call the CESI Debt Helpline right now for a free confidential debt review. 800-957-6063. 800-957-6063.
All right, welcome back. Fifth Street Soccer. Just a reminder, folks, we're with you Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Pacific. That's 4 p.m. on the East, and then 6 p.m. Pacific, that's 9 on the East. If you're on the East, if you're on the West, well, there you have it. They're the two times. If somewhere in between, you can do the math, because it's beyond my intellectual ability to do that and give it to you. Nick Eber and Nick Webster. Nick, final thoughts. Andrew's saying we might be a little harsh on Tottenham.
Yes, well, I just got a big email from Tal Smith as well, who says he's going to call in tomorrow to defend the mighty Spurs. No, I don't think we're being harsh on them. I think that, you know, they had as many World Cup players as City and Liverpool, and quite a few of those players were actually on the English team, so they, you know, played until the end of the tournament. And this new stadium thing, I'm telling you, the atmosphere at the new stadium is going to be funky for at least the first 2-3 months of the season, until everybody gets a feel of where they are, where they belong, and what's going to happen around that.
Yeah.
And plus, they haven't signed anybody.
Well, I think that's it. I mean, I think, Tal, we're not suggesting that they're going to be worse than they were last season. I don't think that's the case. But I think when we look at the clubs around them, Arsenal are not nearly going to be as bad as they were last season. Yeah. They've added substantially to the squad. They have a new manager with a track record of success and a proven system. Yeah, Chelsea are pretty bad, we'll agree. But United is stronger. Liverpool is stronger. City's stronger, at least with the addition of one player. So, I mean, I think that's really the issue. So will Arsenal surpass Tottenham? Well, I guess that's the rivalry, and that's what we have to see. So, Tal, we'll look forward to your call in tomorrow. All right, that's going to wrap up the show for me, Nick Eber, and my co-host, Nick Webster. It is always a pleasure bringing you this show. We do enjoy it, and we hope you will participate. Join us at Facebook at facebook.com/Fifth Street Sports Talk, on the web at fifthstreetsports.com, and of course, you can find us on Twitter at Fifth Street Sports. Folks, have a wonderful, wonderful day as we get close to the kickoff of the Premier League. You join us tomorrow. Will be more great football talk for you here on the Sports Byline USA Radio Network and SB Nation Radio Network. Till then, bye.
USA Radio News.
Today, Republican Congressman Chris Collins was arrested and charged with insider trading related to a biotechnology company. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, Jeff Berman, lays out the specifics.
As alleged in the indictment, Congressman Collins cheated our markets and our justice system in 2 ways. First, he tipped his son to confidential corporate information, and then he lied about it to law enforcement to cover it up.
Vice President Mike Pence is set to deliver a speech regarding the formation of a Space Force. Congressman Louis Gohmert has one thing we need to remember regarding Space Force.
We can't afford to allow corporate